as you were reading, I just realized, I said, I need to add member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated on my bio. Because I need to let people know that this is the membership that I'm proud of right here. So as you was reading it, that just gave me a reminder to update my bio.
'Cause I think you said this to me before, things transpired and crossed and everything. So welcome to the sisterhood, girl. Yes, go ahead and add that because period. Okay, Michalyn, we know you're a busy woman, but a person who definitely has a heart for the community. I say you have grit, grind, grace, all of that. And so we want to go ahead and get into it. You know what stood out to me though about what you do and your platform? It was no more wait your turn. I really loved it. As I was like just learning more about you through what is out there for public information. Y'all go find her. My girl is out there and she's doing it. Okay. I was like, I really like no more wait your turn. And I like this because it makes me think of, how everybody say, we want to sit at the table. It's like, no, we got to build our own table. We got to bring the picnic chair, whatever we got to do. There's no more waiting on somebody to give you something or to hand you something. But it's like, I'm taking what's rightfully mine. I'm going to put myself in the position to do what I need to do for who I need to do it for. And so I really loved it about your platform and how you even won. It was just amazing. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
what is happening in Memphis or District 7 for it to be a lack of teachers, law enforcement, and first responders outside city limits? I ask this because I saw this in your initiative and your platforms to kind of get more of these people into the city limits. So why is, inside city limits so important for you or for Memphis?
It's important. That's a good question. Yeah, I think it's important for Memphis because it's all about community. It's all about who's your neighbor and how are you acting and in love and receiving that love from the people around you. And so it's hard for individuals to serve where they have no tie to, or to be passionate or empathetic where you don't understand and you have no knowledge. And so that does not, mean that you have to stay in the neighborhood that you're patrolling or the school that you work at, but definitely should be a citizen of Memphis because not only does it help the idea of community policing, but it also keeps our tax dollars where they need to be. And so I know people may go across state lines to South Haven or Tupelo or DeSoto, and seeing what they have. A lot of those individuals work in Memphis and have taken their tax dollars, your tax money, especially if they're city employees, elsewhere. And so you just have to think about what are your priorities. So on one hand, I'm all about community policing and helping from within. But if you're not okay with that argument, that's fine. Where do you want your tax money to go? What are you going to pay for? You gonna pay for folks in Mississippi, Arkansas, or wherever else? I'm not. Not with mine, and I don't want to use yours for that either. So that's the whole premise of it. Just keeping things where it needs to be. And as you said, what work are we doing and for whom? I'm not working for folks across the line. I'm working for folks here. So they always gonna be top priority, and everything I do is gonna prioritize folks in Memphis, folks in District 7, and Black people in the city.
Yes, ma'am. Them tax dollars, people don't understand. Like them tax dollars really do mean a lot. And I think too, when you were talking about those tax dollars and that circulating in the community that you care about, that you're growing up in, and you want people to have some type of attachment when it comes to compassion to that community, it's like Black communities, our dollar, it leaves our community so fast. And so if we could learn how to keep that dollar, we probably, I'm not gonna say we wouldn't be in the position that we are in now. I think it's getting better in certain areas, but definitely we could, maximize and grow and probably stick together a little bit more if we had a little bit more money that's coming from us, for us, by us, FUBU, whatever you want to call it. But no, I really, I like what you said, and that's what it made me think about. So, yeah, tax dollars, okay? It's going. You spending it somewhere you want to spend it where you care about, okay?
Exactly.
So I have to know this as well, and I've been asking every woman that has graced this virtual stage, this virtual platform, what does it mean to you to be recognized by another woman, or just in general, what does it mean to you to be a woman of the future?
So being a woman of the future really makes me reflect on what am I doing now. So what have I done that causes somebody else to look at me and be inspired? And then how do I reflect on how I can make that better or find a way to open opportunities for more young women or more women in whatever path that may be. So what am I doing that is positive to where I can be recognized? And then what can I do to make that an option for other women? Like, how can I open the door? How can I hold my hand out and bring others with me? Because if there is no one to continue and make our situations better, then everything I'm doing is for naught. Like, it's all in vain if there's no continuation or there's no embetterment of whatever you're doing in whatever role that you're in.
I like that. And that brings me back to that piece where in your bio it talks about you being the youngest African American woman and things like that. And I think that's really something to look forward to and to even be proud of, because I think I saw like a meme or something. You know, social media had these memes all the time. But it was something that said who made it. It wasn't that it was who made it okay, but basically who emphasized or glamorized, doing things under 30. And it kind of made me think, am I moving myself too fast? Am I wanting to achieve things too early when I might have, I hope to God, that I have a long, long life ahead of me. But, just, I think for myself, and you can chime in however you like, that being able to say I was 24 and I did this gives so much power to people who are in their youth. You know what I mean? It seems like sometimes, only if you're this age at this time, then it's okay to do it. But no, like, it's okay to do it young and do it well and be recognized for you doing it at the age you're doing it. So the Memphis Flyer, 20 under 30, you being the youngest African American in the council, like, that's really great, but it just made me kind of think, and I had thoughts. I was like, maybe I'm moving too fast. Is it? I don't know.
I think it does. I think it doesn't matter the age, but are you prepared? And sometimes preparation doesn't have an age range. So like I'm the type of person where I'm not going to do anything if I don't feel prepared, or if I'm not taking into account any prep or classes or education or whatever that is. And so folks may think I just woke up and was like, yeah, I'm gonna run. No, I thought about it. I prayed on it. I fasted on it for 2 weeks. I did 3 women's political training programs. I wasn't just jump into something just because, they said do it, I'm gonna get in it. I mean, yes, however, I like to be prepared for what I'm getting into. At least give me, with politics, at least give me the basics. But then you think about like maybe some of our parents, like when I compare, I'm 29, I look at my mom at 29. No, we aren't doing the same things, but you were able to put me on the path of extracurriculars, of excelling academically, of being involved. And I'm looking at myself as me and my husband looking at kids. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. Like what my mom did and started early in her 20s versus what I'm doing in my 20s. And sometimes she talks to me and is like, I don't know if I ever be able to do that. So I don't think some stuff has an age range, but what are you preparing to do? What do you have the support to do? What is your tribe? looking like, that love, that welcoming, that just system and base, and then you just going for it. So I haven't seen that meme, but it does make you think. Like, who did say that first? Like, why are you putting so much pressure on us? I don't want to do all that. But just kidding. But yeah, it does make you think about stuff like that.
Like, is it instant gratification? Is it because I'm a microwave generation? You know.
I like the microwave. I'm just.
Okay. But no, like, I really like what you said, and it made me think of standing on the shoulders of giants. You know, everybody who came before us has paved this way for us, and so it hasn't been easy for everybody. And I think we still have a long way to go. But I do believe this is the year of the woman. It's, if not the decade of the woman. And so we are on the rise, and we have been in a patriarchal system for a long time. And
it still is. It still is.
We're breaking down, you know, those barriers. We're disrupting the norms, of what I like to say. And we're walking in this thing with supernatural confidence. And that's why I even wrote my book about walking in your purpose before your 30s, because the more you get clear on your path, I feel like me and you were in our gift. We're in that realm of like, this is my moment, this is my element, this is my zone, this is my game. And the more that you take steps in that, it just becomes more clearer. You find the resources. You might not have all the support that you need, but it's something about understanding what you have, recognizing what you have, and doing something with it. It's amazing.
I agree. And congratulations on your book.
Thank you. Okay. I also saw some other things that I was like, I just gotta ask, right? But what would be the benefit of neighborhood watch groups and police joint associations, also called PJAs, in Black communities?
Well, I mean, that just goes back to what I was speaking earlier about community. You know, you have to be in communication with people. You have to have knowledge of the folks who stay around you. Like, I love where I stay because it's a lot of retired workers on my street. We know folks. You know, you ride down the street. You know, you do your hood like that all down the street, just beating the horn all down the street because everybody like this, and that's what, you know. It's community. It's knowing people, even if you're not going over there on holidays, even if you're not talking all the time. I know what's supposed to be going on at your house. So if you see something funky going on over here, then maybe you're more apt to say something because you have that relationship established with the people around you. Or even if you don't and you have that neighborhood watch group, you have set people who are looking for those things that may be out of order, or that's not supposed to be happening in your community. So you always want watchful eyes, not to say that there is always going to be crime, or that you stay in a particular area and so Black people stay in a crime-ridden area, so they need neighborhood watch. White communities have the same thing, and it can be in the form of homeowners association security. It can be in gated communities, however you want to word it. You know, words do matter, but it's still the same concept. So maybe you don't stay in a homeowners association area in North Memphis, but a neighborhood watch is an option. It's ways to work and get sky cop cameras. It's so many different things that we can work at. One, building community, and two, just increasing our feeling of security and where we stay.
Like that. Words do matter, and they try to throw a little, you know, shine on it to make it sound a little different.
Yeah. Same concept.
And we all want to feel protected when we leave the house. And it's something about the power of community and neighbors. Like, I don't know, like, you can be in your own zone, but it was a one-time short story that has everything to do with this. But I was gone, I think, and a guy that lives across the street, like, videoed this man that was walking up on our front door, and it's like, he was like, I don't know who this is, you know? And so it's just like, dang, my neighbors are really cool, you know? My neighbors are really, like, looking out for us. So definitely neighborhood watch. I'm all game for that. So why is increased mental health services important when it comes to being under the umbrella of crime? Because I know that's part of your initiative as well, like increased mental health services. Why is that important for you to put that out there?
Well, a lot of times you get calls for individuals who need mental assistance, and not so much committing a crime. It may be more of a nuisance or an issue instead of a crime. And so you need individuals who are fully trained for that, or at least seeing how the two can merge. And so that's really going to free up more dedicated police, like actual police officers, to attend to crimes if there's a way to figure out how to address mental needs without using up police officers that are intended to respond to crime.
I'm gonna take a moment right there because we've been through a lot, and I don't know if you've watched. Is it American Skin? I don't know if it just came out. I think it just came out. But it's called American Skin, and I just watched it a couple days ago. Really, really heart wrenching. But it was forced the blue men and the black people and the Latina and the white people to all have this conversation about this one black child's death based on racial profiling that actually came out through it. And I hope I'm not giving away too much to people that's gonna watch it. Sorry, spoiler alert. But it does force them to have a conversation. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But even when I thought about that question and asking you, I remember, again, I love social media because it brings so many different perspectives from so many people that whatever. And so I was seeing it was a post and it was like a thread. And it was talking about how this young lady, this guy had just got out of jail and everybody was telling him to go submit these documents like on his laptop and things like that. But he had been in jail for so long and you guys are telling him something he has nothing, he has no like real knowledge about, like being on a laptop or whatever, internet service they had in jail is totally different from being out here and working with the internet and Wi-Fi and everything. He didn't even know about Wi-Fi. And so just the adjustment that people have to make when they leave, and life has sped up 1,000 years probably to them versus when they got in there, depending on when they got in there. It's a big adjustment, and it made me be more sensitive to people's not ignorance, and not saying ignorance is like it's a bad thing, but just because they just don't know, So I definitely want to ask that question about like the crime and the mental health, and just bringing more awareness and sensitivity to that subject, because we think, oh, that person just go and do life. No, we need help.
Yeah, everybody does. So.
Most importantly. So I want to know this for sure. I love asking this question to anybody because there's been so many different takes on it. And so I want to know, we want to know, everybody wants to know, what has failure taught you?
Failure has taught me to not dwell on not to dwell too long on what's not going to propel you further. So you can sulk in or wallow in whatever that negative feeling or event was that happened, but is it going to get you closer to where you need to go? So a lot of people don't know this. I mean, I've told this to the kids I've taught high school, but I don't think I've said it outside of the classroom. But all my life, I wanted to be a dentist. I wanted to be a dentist and buy a van and go in the hood and give out just free dental cleaning every month. And that's what I wanted to do. However, having a lack of college knowledge in the house, and then also having a lack of access to counselors in school. I mean, like we had 3 for over 1,000 kids. So I didn't get any special attention. Nothing clicked in my head that, hey, Michalyn, if you're not good at math and science now, what makes you think you're going to be good in college? So I get to college and I'm like, yep, I'm bio major. I'm going to Meharry Medical. Get me in these classes, get me out. First semester, okay, oh my gosh. I don't even know if I want to say this out loud on this, but I failed math, I failed science, I failed chemistry, I failed the science lab. I came home freshman year, fall semester from CBU with a 0.8 GPA. Because, and that's not, I didn't skip class. I went to class every day. I went to tutoring. I couldn't get it. And it was something like in my head that was like, why can't I get this? Like I would get it up until like, okay, I'm good this week. Oh shoot, y'all moving too fast. I can't get it together. so, but that was a hard blow because I got put on the probation list. They told my parents, if you don't get it together, she got to lose her scholarship. I'm surprised I didn't already lose them with those grades first semester, but that didn't stop me. I could have been like, well, I failed this whole semester. I'm just done. I worked in the warehouse this summer. I was like, I can keep working here. I got a job, whatever. But I rerouted my plan because my whole thing was, how can I help children and how can I help the community? And so I started thinking of other ways that I could do that with a college degree that I could actually pass. So I changed my major. Well, not the next year, but the next semester I just kept working, kept going, changing my classes, getting all my gen eds out the way, and changed my major to history. Decided I wanted to teach high school. And Kay, when I said I had to make an A in every class the rest of my college career. So I graduated cum laude. I was history student of the year. I had my internships. I studied abroad. I did all of that. But if I would have dwelled on me coming home with less than a 1.0, my first semester in school, I wouldn't be anywhere. But I was like, okay, failed it. Okay, that's what it was. What am I going to do now that's going to get me to where I want to be? And that's to be in a position to help others. Because if I don't give the best that I can, if I don't do the best that I can, then how am I going to be an asset to somebody else? I can't be an asset half doing it. I can't be an asset not giving 100%. So how can I be an asset to my community if I don't give my best and if I don't try my best? And if that means giving up the dream of being a dentist because I can't pass chemistry 101, it wasn't even chemistry. It wasn't even intro. Organic chem or inorganic chem. It's chemistry 101. And so I can laugh about it now, but I came home and just was like, Mama, why ain't nobody tell me I couldn't do math? Like, how did I make it through high school? But yeah, I always tell it to my high school kids because they need their real life motivation, and that's my real life story. What failure has taught me. So I think that was my first time saying that publicly. So
what I think it makes your story and your accomplishments all the more sweeter as well, because as you were talking, I was hearing failure is not final, and also you talked about rerouting. If you say no to yourself, if you say failure equals no, then you stop yourself from like actually getting on the path that that's really meant for you. It's gonna take you, I'm not even gonna say failing. It's gonna take you figuring that out that that's not for you, so it can reroute you to what's really for you. And you're shining in it now. You're glowing in it. You stepping all in it. You girl, pressure. Okay, I'm like every photo you know, come on. And I know you got some other stuff that you're doing. I just saw a photo yesterday with you and Antoine. Can't wait to see what that's gonna be.
Yeah.
I won't push you at all. But yeah, you're shining in it. And not to say that life won't teach you more things about how to reroute, but that's a beautiful story. And it makes your accomplishments all the more sweeter story. So I know that you've been pretty busy today. Today is Thursday. It's stormy outside. And so of course, there's always the questions about you kind of already told me earlier, but the question was kind of like, what is your go-to when you kind of want to decompress? And we kind of talked about that behind the scenes. But I really want to know, what is your legacy when you think about legacy? Whether it has to be everybody you come in contact with, right? So what is legacy for you?
I think legacy is, I guess it would be a kind of universal definition for folks. What will people say about you when you're gone? Also, what do people say about you that's true behind your back? Um, and how do people remember you even when you're not, like not dead or anything, but maybe just outside of their everyday view? How do they remember you? And so I always think about, how can I impact people and what can I show them so that they'll know what their opportunities are. So what can I do to provide options and exposure and opportunities for somebody else? And that necessarily doesn't equate to you having a legacy in somebody else's memory. They might just have that opportunity and may not think of you initially until later, or maybe not at all. And that's okay. But just knowing that you've had the opportunity to influence and impact somebody else's trajectory of life is good enough. And so I'm sure other educators might share that same sentiment. And that's the same thing I bring over to my community work. But it's like, how am I opening and wide a door for you? Because that's what I want to be my legacy. Because if I can't, it doesn't matter what I do, I can't fully enjoy what I want to in my life if there are still exacerbating heavy issues that is going to impede me from enjoying what I want to in my life. So I can't be here in my home happy and nice and here with my husband and my dog doing whatever if we still have the issue of crime and poverty and hunger and homelessness down the street from me. I mean, I stay in North Memphis, so I mean, I can't think of a greater North Memphis as my or whomever else's legacy if I'm not working to allow other people an opportunity to change that with me. Because when I'm gone, or even when I'm stopped doing what I'm doing, how will people see how I made it better for them? Or how can they see that they've been able to make it better with others for everybody else? So for me, it's all about providing opportunity, exposure, options, because it's not about us. It's not about one person. It's not about one group. It's how can generations, a full livelihood of people have a different and better life than the ones before them. And so when you see those differences, you get a full scope of folks in the legacy. Like now, so it's Women's History Month. Now we're looking back at a multitude of women who, in their own right, have done things to allow our lives to be different. And so it's like that's the legacy you want, to be able to have done something, not just to get in the history book, but just to make it an option for other people. So I talk about my girl Shirley Chisholm all the time. She was an educator. She was a community organizer. She's also a soror. But you think of people who made it different for you, not because they intended to, maybe, but just because of whatever they've done has made it so that your door can be open wider. And so that's just something that I think about on the daily. What am I doing to make things better for other people long term. I know there was a lot, but
that was a word, because sometimes you may not get that immediate recognition. And as an educator, sometimes you think your seed is falling on solid ground, fertile at all. You're like, what is going on here? So no.
Did you hear me? Yeah.
So to be invested in people like that. You know, they say, when was the best time to plant a tree? 50 years ago. When's the next best time? Now. And so the reason why we're standing under the shade now is because somebody 50 years ago planted a tree, a seed, and now we're able to enjoy that shade, regardless if it was intended for me or not. They did it, so I get to reap that harvest. And sometimes you won't see the harvest of the seeds that you planted, but God will allow you to see some of those things along the way, because He does want you to live a prosperous life while you're here. So I really love that. That was good. Oh man. Okay, let's wrap this thing up by kind of getting into this last little piece. I always say, hey, even if it's for a woman specifically of our race, of our, age, what is something that you would say? It could be universal. It doesn't have to be just to a woman, but what is something you would say to them for who are looking to go into politics, or who is looking to make an impact? Like, what would you, even if it was to your younger self, just something you want to leave, just talk to that person and say, hey, this is what I can say
for you. One thing I would say, and I say this often, and I keep thinking, is it a better way to say this? Because sometimes it don't sound that nice. But to just think about, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Because you have to make sure that what you are doing and the efforts and energy you're putting out is aligning to what you're called and what you're supposed to do. It's easy to get caught up in side tasks and side opportunities and side groups that don't align with what you're supposed to be doing, and may take away time and resources from you actually getting to your goal. Or it may take away the opportunity from someone else that should be doing that for that time being. And so that's why I brought up when I said I was deciding to run. I didn't just say, okay, yeah, I can do that. But I was like, no, let me ask. Let me ask around my community. Let me fast. Let me get a clearance because I don't want to do it just because Michalyn thinks she can do it, because I think I can do whatever except for pass science and math, obviously. But just making sure that you're putting your time, effort, and resources where it should be. And that's to get whatever impact you want on the world, and you want your best self focused on that goal.
That's hot. That's heated. Okay. You took me out when you first said, just because you can, I mean, you should. Like that's really big. And I think I posted this a while back, and I heard it from Miles Monroe, and he talked about, I wasn't created to do everything, but I was created to do something. And so whatever that something is, get invested in it. Like you said, go find the resources when it comes to the education toward it. Ask around. I'm a big experimenter. Like, honey, look, I will go try some stuff just to say for myself, oh, this ain't, I'm not willing to suffer for this. And when I think about passion, everybody, what are you passionate about? I'm passionate about a lot of things, if I had to be honest. But Sarah Jakes broke it down like this in one of her sermons. I'll never forget it. She said, when you think about the Passion of the Christ, the movie, and that word passion, why did they name that movie Passion of Christ? Because Jesus was willing to suffer on that cross for his purpose, for what God had born him, like birthed him to do, like conceived him for that moment. And so when people ask you, what are you passionate about? When you think about what you're passionate about, you have to ask yourself, what am I willing to suffer for? Like, what am I willing to put myself on the line for? What am I willing to put resources into? You know? And that makes it a little bit different. You approach it from a different way. And when I think about some of the stuff that I was doing, I was like, not willing to suffer for it. But there are some things, and what I'm doing now, I'm willing to suffer for it. I'm willing to be called, you know, what is she doing? I'm willing to not have any viewers online. I'm willing to shoot my shot at an A-lister and get told no. I'm willing to sit down with people who are already around me to have real conversations and to build relationships with people that I don't really know or even may believe different than me. But you do have to ask yourself, what are you willing to suffer for? And even if you have to reroute, like you said, it's okay to do that. But like you said, just because you can do everything or some things doesn't mean you should do all those things. So I love that. That was really good. Any last thoughts?
No, I'm just gonna take that last thought you had and mull on it. Mull on it. I like that. I hadn't heard that before, and that really resonates. So thank you for sharing it too, Kay.
No problem, girl. And I want to say thank you again for gracing this virtual platform with your presence, Soror. You have been doing amazing things. I'm watching you. I'm in full support of you. Can't wait to see if we can work together in the future. But I am so glad that you are a part of the Inspire Bosses family now. And guys, we'll catch you all soon. I'm taking a break. The girl is taking a break. The book is coming out soon. And on May 15th, we got some more things that we're doing with the book, you guys, and we have to roll these things out that we've been recording on YouTube, all of that good stuff. I'm taking a break though. So I'll be back soon and I'll let y'all know. So stay updated and stay tuned. Right.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Oh yeah, guys, I can't remember what I was saying. Remember, we are healthy, wealthy, and wise. I'm out. Okay, so it's done. It's stopped. Let me start recording on here.